The entire point of the suite of policies that we've taken to the election is to do a couple of things. Firstly, there is a generation of Australians looking forward in their life thinking, I'm going to rent forever. And Labor's very happy with that. They're very happy with lifelong renters. What I encourage each and every one of those people to do is to get a calculator out, get your tax return out from last year and do the numbers. This policy, first home buyer mortgage deductibility, is going to ensure that a generation of young Australians are now going to be able to make the numbers work to buy a home, to do precisely what we've made clear from the start. We cannot be a country where your only prospect of owning a home is if you come from a wealthy family or that you can get support. Now, of course, every parent wants to do that for their children, but my family, for example, my father came here as a migrant at 18 years old. One of the reasons he came to Australia was that the prospect of owning a home for him was realistic here in this country. It was not realistic for him in the country he came from. Huge parts of the world actually have a situation where unless you inherit a home, you never own one. Now, that is a situation we cannot accept in this country, and we are fast going down that path under the Labor Party. While they fiddle and Rome burns in the housing market, a generation of Australians will miss out. So the entire purpose of this policy is to give young Australians the prospect of home ownership, to ensure that it's open to everyone. So the only requirement to owning a home in this country is A, if you want it, and B, if you're willing to work hard. We know Australians are willing to work hard. We also know that, contrary to what the Labor Party says, it was very famously a few years ago, the Victorian Premier, former Premier, said that young Australians don't want to own homes. That's wrong. Young Australians do want to own homes. That's my message to the Labor Party. I know the Labor Party doesn't think young Australians want to own homes. They do. But many of them feel so disheartened that they've given up that hope. Well, this policy reinstates that hope for them. And there's only one requirement. You want it and you're willing to work hard, and we know Australians do. So this policy is about opening home ownership up to everybody. It's a huge change. I remember in 2019 when we announced the home guarantee scheme, 5% deposits for first home buyers. Labor criticised it. Now they're latter day converts to it. This policy, first home buyer mortgage deductibility, mark my words, if we win the election and this is implemented, it will have universal acclaim, because it's going to do the job of getting first home buyers into the market, turning lifelong renters into homeowners. And let's be frank, we can't accept a situation where a generation of Australians don't have the same opportunity for home ownership as their parents did, as their grandparents did. And that's why this generational policy is so important.